Ranking every starter Pokemon from worst to best. Last time was the grass type starter, so now we'll dive right into the water types. We'll kick it off with the first stages, and unlike the first stages for the other types, I don't actually love every single one of these. Most, but not all. Anyway, I have zero problem whatsoever immediately throwing Sobble at 9. It just does absolutely nothing for me. Don't worry, I'm not one of those Gen 1ers that hates all of these new designs, but this whole line is just awful in my opinion. Its saving grace is the fact that it has a surprising 70 base speed and special attack, which isn't unheard of, but is really good for a first stage, along with it being cute and sad enough for me to just feel bad for it. Now for number 8, it's not quite as simple. I'm not a fan of this Pokemon at all, but a lot of you are. It's Oshawott. No, okay, wait, don't click off the video just yet. Go ahead and write your angry comment, but just know that this line does get its redemption. Look, it's a cute little otter, I get it. I genuinely can't even tell you why I don't like it. There's nothing wrong with it, it just does nothing at all for me. And number 7 is the last one of these first stages that I don't like. It's Quaxly. And I shouldn't say I dislike it, it's kinda cute I guess, but I just don't really have an opinion on it. It's basically just Donald Duck. Sadly, it just falls behind the other starters in its own home region because they're really awesome and are monsters in battle, which makes Quaxly just kind of forgettable. But number 6 is Popplio. Now this little guy is adorable, especially when it does the little seal clapping thing. I like it a lot, even if it's pretty unpopular for some reason. I mean, I guess a water type seal isn't exactly all that imaginative, but not everything has to be. Sometimes being right on the nose isn't a bad thing, and it works here. To start off the top 5, we bring in Piplup. This little penguin is just so cute. It has so much personality in the anime, and look at how adorable his little beak is. I mean, come on. This isn't even nostalgia, honestly. Nostalgia for me cuts off at Gen 3 because I'm old. But anyway, number 4 is Froakie. It somewhat uniquely isn't a cute first stage starter, which in Froakie's case actually works really great. It's a really cool design that I think portrays its agile and athletic future as a little ninja really well. Coming in at 3 is Totodile. Now you want to talk about personality. This little guy is full of it. Such a little menace, running around chomping everything like an adorable little puppy gator. Too bad it is in the pretty forgettable Johto region. That starter trio really needs some attention other than Sad Boy Typhlosion. But for number 1 and 2, I'd honestly be totally fine with putting either of them at number 1, but I've personally put Mudkip at 2 and therefore Squirtle at 1. Both of them are just absolutely perfect starter designs if you ask me. And both of them are filled with so much nostalgia, not to mention becoming full-blown memes on their own. And now we'll move on to the middle stages. Now, most middle stages are pretty meh at best, and the water starter middle stages definitely follow suit, with most of them being as mid as it gets. So we'll move quickly through them and get to what we all care about. Number 9 is Drizzile, which is just awful. Where did the puke green come from? This is probably my least favorite specific starter Pokemon ever, if we're being completely honest. I just can't stand this thing. And number 8, Quaxly is better, I suppose. Still a long ways off from what I would call good, but it's a funny idea at least and makes sense with the evolution line. Number 7 is Brion, and number 6 is Prinplup, and for both of them, I don't have anything negative at all to say. But I don't have anything necessarily positive to say either. They're just kinda here. They're fine. Now at number 5, Marshtomp is an interesting one. Back when it was 2D sprites, I absolutely loved it. It was so lively and happy and the colors popped, but then the 3D sprites happened, and they just drained the soul out of this poor little guy. Number 4 is Wartortle, and I won't pretend this one isn't nostalgia. The ears and tails are really kind of out of place and odd for this evolution line, but I still love him. Into the top 3, where I actually really like them a lot, starting with number 3, Feraligatr. Honestly, the perfect link between Froakie and Greninja. It looks really good. Then number 2 is Croconaw. Now, admittedly, the caveman vibe is kind of out of place between Totodile and Feraligatr, but it just looks so good and works really well for some reason. Why does a teenage caveman crocodile work? I don't know. But anyway, that leaves number 1 for Duat, and I genuinely think this is by far the best design in the whole line. I like it so much better than Samurott. The shells on the hips like sheaths, the pose showing it's ready to draw, it's actually incredible. But enough of the middle stages, now we'll move on to the fun part, the final evolutions. Starting us off at number 9 is Inteleon, and I don't hate it as much as I did when it first released. It's fun to use, I suppose. Having 125 special attack and 120 speed is really awesome for a water starter, but god, it just looks so odd. It's such an awesome concept, but I just don't like the final result at all, really. Like, look at how skinny its arms are. What are those? And how does it go from the scared little Sobble to like emo Drizzile to secret agent? I'm sorry, what? At number 8, I have probably my most controversial placement of them all, Samurott. It was such an awesome idea, a samurai otter that uses shells as swords. That is so cool. But why the big helmet horn thing, and then all of a sudden being on all fours, ruining the samurai vibe entirely? It's just disappointing. It could have been so much better. Its stat spread is also not really my favorite. It has good attack, but not enough speed to take advantage of it, and it's not really bulky enough either to make up for that. And with that being said, I will throw Hisuian Samurott at 7. It has the exact same issues as regular Samurott, but just looks a whole lot cooler in general. And it does slightly improve on the lack of speed from before. Coming in at number 7 is quaquaval, I don't know. I actually really like the idea here. Its design and concept got pulled off really well. It looks cool. It kind of reminds me of Falco from Star Fox, if we're being honest. Now, granted, it could have been a lot better, for sure. Some of its proportions are a bit weird, and its stats are, well, also weird. Everything about it is just kind of okay, especially compared to the other 2 Paldea starters. It just doesn't stand up. Okay, now we're officially done with the negative. I love every single one of the top 6, and this part was very hard to decide. I'm gonna throw Feraligatr at number 6. I think it looks absolutely awesome, especially back in the 2D sprites. It's menacing, it's strong. Its only downside is that it's kind of literally just an alligator. Though I do appreciate simplicity in design, you know, being a Gen 1er at all. Its coverage with Ice Fang and Crunch was a huge benefit in the Johto remake, and it actually has a really nice stat spread. It's not terribly slow, but it has enough bulk and attack to really get the job done. Up next is number 5, Primarina. Probably a placement a lot of you will question, but I actually really like it quite a bit. The design of a siren or a mermaid seal is pulled off really well, but the real reason it's so high is its typing. Water Fairy is an amazing combo, and its huge special attack and defense stats go along with it to make this thing an absolute powerhouse. Number 4 is Empoleon, and actually for a very similar reasoning as Primarina. Where Primarina went pretty, Empoleon went badass. It also has the amazing secondary type of Steel, and actually a very similar stat spread. I will admit, I didn't used to be a huge fan of its design, but the trident crown and the big claw flippers are so cool, but the tuxedo vest thing really kind of throws me off, but it still looks awesome and has grown on me. Officially bringing us into the top 3, and really any of these 3 could be the number 1 for sure, but if I have to choose, I'm going to put Greninja at 3. It's such an awesome design and the perfect end for the froakie line. I mean, come on, it's a water dark ninja frog. That's pretty cool. And its stat spread is just about perfect for that typing. It is one of the most popular Pokemon ever, and for a good reason. But I prefer number 2, Blastoise. Man, Gen 1er. Okay, yeah, sure, why not? But let's be real here. Blastoise is as cool as it is iconic. The bulky cannon turtle will always be one of my favorite Pokemon. However, I have to give Swampert the top spot, for a few reasons. First, it arguably has the best typing in the game, especially for Hoenn. Swampert can carry you through its region easier than any other starter other than maybe Infernape and Sinnoh. It's far and away the best in-game choice for Hoenn, which is saying a lot because that trio is absolutely stacked. So in conclusion, the top spots for each stage are Squirtle, Duat, and Swampert. In the next video, we'll be doing fire starters, so be sure to subscribe if you aren't already, and if you want to see my opinions change in progress, check out this video where I give Gen 5 its first chance in over 10 years. See you next time.